The boss one, I'm gonna get mine. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Don't tell me how you're off and down. When you're smiling in my face, but you play me like a clown, it's your fool, bitch. So just step back. I'm a mad dad when I come down straight. I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'll pull my down. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go. Back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean. Revolution.
Yes, sir.
What people say, they stay,
Yes,
they
sir.
slay. 1, 2, 3,
See you again.
Whoop, whoop.
Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and walk like this. Promises, promises all the time. Don't cross the line, but you know it's mine. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go.
What police station were you in before? Say hi, Sue. Hi, Lefty.
Hey, hey. Well, let me unmute you guys. You guys are muted. Well, today was fun in Union City. I'm going back to Union City.
You were in Union City before? That's the police station you were in, right?
That's the police station with that big step out in the front there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Why are you at the police station?
I was trying to drop off drugs in their drug drop box, but they had no drug drop box to drop the drugs.
So I asked them, and then they asked for my information, and that's when I took the cue to leave.
And they had no button to open up the door either.
No, there was no button, and I had to ask to come in. And
yeah, I couldn't tell if you were opening the door yourself or not.
Very strange.
How you all of a sudden you were just in there.
Yeah, they had to let me in. And luckily, they didn't question me. Like in Montclair, they questioned me. Like, why do you need to come in here? They don't question anybody else coming through the front door. Why do you need to come in here? But they questioned me because I was in a wheelchair and I was causing them to have to work harder to get someone in the building.
I love that.
So I said, I have to drop drugs off. And they said, can I see them? And
No.
I'm like, I should have said no. I'm going to do my business inside where I should, like.
No,
Montclair,
you could get arrested for that.
Yeah.
I love that concept, though. Like, you knock. What do you need? I've been shot. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Like, that's the police station of any should be somewhere that you should be able to walk in without pressing anything or anything like that.
I have to ask permission to come in.
Like, sorry, the your lives being on the line doesn't stop because you're at the desk. That's not the reality we live in anymore. But
It's only going to get worse.
let's just hope not. I mean, it's like you hear me. I keep championing like the hope that there's going to be a group of people that will, like you say, stand up to these radical ideas that are coming up in these concepts, and say we're not going to be bullied, but also say we're going to be civil.
Mm-hmm.
A thought occurred to me recently that about and Sue, I think you'd appreciate this very much. Now, there's been a lot of talk about mass deportation, lots of talk about that, and be a promise that you're hearing somewhat dialed back now in the in coverage of this. But one thing that's really been striking to me that I just realized when I was in the bathroom earlier talking to my best friend, again, illegal immigrants don't stop with Mexico, and yet that's the only people we're talking to. It's the where are you from? I'm Iranian. I'm from. Sorry, nope. You're going to Mexico. That's the policy. If you come and stay in America illegally, we're going to deport you to Mexico. That's what.
Yeah, any other country, they said. I know. I saw that.
But they're not. But we're not having any other conversation with like any other country, which I feel like is if we're going to talk about mass deportation, which no one wants to, but there are more than just Spanish immigrants.
Yeah, because they all come through the same border, so
yeah.
You can't really. You know what gets me is the amount of these, these big storage units that they keep putting up all over the place. Like when they first started putting them up, I was thinking, I think it was, I don't know, during COVID or something like that. So I was saying, oh, this is where they're going to put everybody. So now I think that's what those storage units are for. Because come on, not that many people have that much storage.
So
think about it, right?
I'm cramming in dinner here while I'm doing this, but I have a retort for that.
Okay.
There are more level-headed hoarders out there. You know what I mean? Ones that won't flood their own house, but will have 2 storage units.
Okay.
That's what I think a lot of those are.
Yeah, but you know what? We sold our house and we moved into, we live in one of those, those newer apartment buildings that they're building all over the place. They all have storage units in them. So I don't need a storage place,
right,
for the stuff I can't fit in this apartment.
Unless you lose your apartment or your house or have nowhere to stay.
That's true. But like,
I had stuff in storage for years, but I would always pay it off just before they'd be auctioning it because I've led that kind of life.
But storage is so much of a thing in our country that like we have TV shows about it. We have wars over storage in storage, like these container units and whatnot. So I think they're definitely, doubling down on how they're ingrained in our culture. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's crazy the stuff you'll find in those things. It's like a lot of the times you'll waste a lot of money and it's you open it up and it's like, oh, doll heads. Terrible, awful. But sometimes there's actually some good stuff in there. I wish I had the funds to spend on a whole storage and just say, hey, let's go see what's inside.
I went to a storage auction probably 15 years ago because it was fun watching like the shows on TV a little bit, Right. I mean, it's a fun thing about it. And I had a lot of fun. Just I wasn't really ready to buy anything. I didn't have a lot of money. But if I saw anything that was it's like lottery tickets. I mean, people go and fork over $50 for lottery tickets and scratch them off.
Yeah.
There's units, it's like 3 boxes. nothing on them, and you kind of wonder. But the fun is, it wasn't like the show where everybody's cutthroat. It was like after it was all said and done, you'd walk around and see what people got who weren't trying to hide it, because people that buy them, they're buying it to sell stuff, and you're the first one gets to look at their shit. So while they're finding something, like in my case, it was a guitar. Somebody found a guitar, and
Awesome.
it wasn't a good one. So I mean, I wasn't going to say it's not a good one. I didn't want it. I didn't tell him I knew too much about it. But on the other hand, if it was one, I'll play his game and say, "Oh man,
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, it's horrible." Let me see, and I'd play it and go, "Oh my god, fucking next bad." That's why you don't leave things like this in storage. God, tell you number. I've lost enough guitars like that myself to know the difference. I'll tell you though, I do a show where every now and then it's really good to destroy one. Like I hit it over my head, with a fireman's helmet on, and I need to buy a cheap guitar. I'll give you $10 for it, but that's all it's worth,
Love that.
I used to get guitars at Englishtown to do that. Cheap guitars at Englishtown.
How much did you pay for ones that you were smashing over your head at the time?
$5 to $10.
Let's compare the prices of what we smash over our heads.
Yeah.
Insert useless political metaphor there.
Lefty did that on the Ricky Lake show one time, back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's Lefty, is where he started out, He started out there, and then he's reeled it back in for like 30 years now.
I wound up here. How did I wind up here?
To where he makes it work in today's world,
Bashing guitars over your head.
Yo,
Yo.
that would be a great idea. Smashing guitar over my head at a fucking podium at a council meeting. Oh,
I'm sorry. I
Get
don't.
like
What was I thinking?
Council flag,
Great
piece it
idea,
on the
Jim.
He's
guitar.
sitting there smoking one up.
No, you don't want to do that though, because then they can say that you are
Yeah.
a threat to
They can
yourself.
say to you
They'll
sometimes.
hold you for 3 days.
They'll ask you, do you feel
They'll
like
bring
people
you-
are following you sometimes?
Yeah.
Like
They're going to bring you in a paddy wagon.
your people are watching you, and they're going to be watching you. He's at the
Don't do
other.
that. Don't
No,
do
of
that.
course not.
Lefty's at the other end of a number of somewhat one-way jokes, depending on how many people are there or no. But when he was doing his antics, meaning crossing, a crosswalk thing at a police station we were protesting at. I mean, a police station, a courthouse. That wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't where you got asked if you think people are following you, but they were following you at the time. Following you, asking you, do you think people are following you sometimes? What is it? What is this, a trick question?
I feel like that's a gaslight.
it was bad. It was a crosswalk to two curbs. A crosswalk with two curbs. So if you're in a wheelchair, you're just going back and forth without going on the sidewalk. You can't get up on the sidewalk. Ridiculous at a courthouse. I'm like,
Where was that?
Salem.
That was at Willie
Salem?
Beamer's
Salem?
trial for growing, a patient for growing. So we went to the
Like
trial to protest, and Lefty multitasks. Hey, while I'm here, I think he was a little bit disconcerted that it was on a street where all the stores are ground level, and there's almost always a step up into the store.
Mm-hmm.
Rain washing and whatever, and there wasn't. So he's protesting, and right across the streets, all this opportunity. Wow, they're all fucking accessible. Oh, over here, curbs in the way, and he makes it right. He found a place to go, but it was really perfect. The carnival was in town that day.
Carnival wasn't in town.
It was a protest where the hippie tribe came and were rolling joints in their hands,
Right.
and openly smoking, not aggressively, but gathered outside the courthouse. And because it's legal.
What constitutes aggressively smoking?
Well, I mean, like, let him go.
Yeah.
Why you arrest people like him, assholes? No, it was like we're just like getting high, and like I made really cool signs, It kind of said it without being aggressive. But it was funny seeing a weed man come and attend himself, and there's
Absolutely.
that was a
Can you change the subject
please.
or wait till I leave?
Okay.
So what's going on in your world? What are you thinking about? What's hit you this week so far? I could go on. The football game with it was the display there was really the highlight of distaste for me this week. I think it's just very showing that he's not putting his full weight behind this guy, but it's also weird that he's willing to tote him around the way he's toting him around. I don't know. It's just a weird message altogether.
I don't know what.
But we know how he flip flops. It's just.
I must have blipped out or something. I don't know what you're talking about at all.
So over the weekend, Trump took Hegseth to the Army-Navy football game, and it's just another example, like I was saying, of like he's not saying he's my guy. I'm definitely behind him, but at the same time, he's like trailing him around, walking him around, and everything.
Daniel Penny.
This is why I didn't know about it.
Yeah, the Marine that choked out the crackhead.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, that he's being hailed as a hero for choking out a crackhead now.
I don't like that at all. First of all, the guy was a known schizophrenic, so I like how that's just being mentioned and not taken into consideration. I don't know.
He's also a street entertainer that people really enjoyed seeing what he when he would moonwalk. Did you know that?
I did remember the original report of that stating that he was some sort of either well-known person within the area.
Yeah, I think he was homeless, but people knew who he was because he was always entertaining on the street. So and he would do a lot of Michael Jackson imitations and whatnot, So that's why so many people were really upset. They were like, well, he really was just hungry,
Well, it sounds like he had an episode. It wasn't that he was hungry. It sounds like on the subway he had a schizophrenic episode.
Yeah, probably.
And, I mean,
this was in New York, I guess. Right?
Yeah, this was the last.
I've been to New York and ridden subways. It's not uncommon for people to be like that in New York. In other words, it shouldn't have been. On the subway, it shouldn't have been surprising to that extent. It's like sometimes. Geez, that's the police's job to fuck that up, not his,
But the big surprising part for me is that of all people, a Marine doesn't know how to disarm this non-lethally. I don't know.
It's all that they're taught de-escalation. So all he had to do was de-escalate him if he thought that was necessary.
Even if de-escalation didn't work, I know for a fact he could have restrained him without killing him.
Yeah, he didn't have to kill him. There was no reason for that.
Well, I assume the offense was he didn't think, when I see somebody getting choked out, I mean,
he was at that game with them too.
No, for sport, I'm always thinking, does it ever go too far? In a backyard sport, I'm not talking about one that's run with somebody there that'll jump in. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Fight Club like stuff, And choking somebody out in the movies, it's strangling them to death. With this, it's choking out. I don't know where one crosses over to the other. So even if I could, I'd be scared to death, or to do that if I even knew or had the ability how, you know. But seriously, just as easily, if you grabbed a guy really hard, I wouldn't want to. They grab really hard by the balls. I mean, really fucking hard. He's going to do exactly what you want.
I'm gonna tell you something. The guy
You
was
know.
schizophrenic. I don't know if he would have.
You know what?
You
Can I
can't.
say that? Let me say something. You know what? You guys know I worked in emergency trauma departments for years. Okay. And some of them, and I can't name their names now because we're being recorded, but are the worst in the state. And so there was a lot of, that kind of stuff, that would happen. Sometimes it would take 15 people to hold one person down, So the whole scene that happened on that subway was really, really hard to watch because of everything that I learned. I don't know. I didn't get it. Yeah. Because that's who do you have coming, the psyche yours, they're well trained on how to bring somebody down. They're not police officers, yet we had police officers in all of the ERs that I worked in. We had state police, we had Newark police, nobody got hurt. The only person, there was one time that someone got hurt, but he jumped out the window, on his own. Nobody pushed him.
And I mean, I think not that they could have done anything to control this, but I think that give the delivering of this verdict in timing with the United Health thing is not helping anything at all. Having one hailed as a hero, having another hailed as a hero, they've got now on the right 2 people that they can call vigilantes or whatever they want to call them.
Well, I don't think they're calling the kid though, Luigi. Of course, they had to make him Italian, right?
No, but they're definitely not championing him.
Oh, he made himself
a guy, but they're still
parents made
very
him
happy
Italian.
about it.
No, he's got terrorist
join me?
charges against him now.
Say hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. How we doing?
You want to walk in and out like that? You're going to say hi.
Hi. Hi.
But I mean, look at it this way: like that guy got exonerated. Luigi, no, they're not exactly. Of course, he's in the criminal process right now. They're not going to immediately champion him like that, but there's a whole bunch of people that are giving money to him for his criminal defense fund. Whether they're going to use that or not, I don't know. But I think just there's support going both ways here in very negative ripples on our society as far as what is the right way to handle a situation like this. Will we even hear the word de-escalation? Really, is that going to be a thing, or is it just going to be, listen, if someone's disrupting the peace, kill them? I don't know. It's scary.
If you punch someone, if someone's bothering you and you punch them in the face and they fall and hit their head and die, you're liable for that.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah,
you should be anyway.
Yes, absolutely. That has been the norm.
The other 2 people who were holding him with accessories when he dies. I didn't see 2 other people holding him.
I thought it was just video. I remember was one other
Can you
person.
read what that says? It says that if he was guilty of killing him, why didn't they charge the other 2 people who were holding him with accessories when he died?
Oh, I can. Okay, so there were 2 other people that were assisting holding him down while he actually his legs and whatnot. So my guess, I'm not a lawyer, but my guess at that would be that they did not know that he was intending or performing a chokehold at the
probably.
time.
Yeah.
That would be my assessment of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And apparently he was on drugs. He had sickle cell. He had other issues going on. So some people are easier to kill than others. That doesn't mean it's okay, though.
But that's the other thing, though. It has been noted multiple times that the system failed this person miserably. So once the system fails you and you are left to the streets to have to fend for yourself, then it's okay to kill you. That's what I've getting the sense of.
He was unarmed, no knife, no gun.
Yep.
But you can kill someone, an unarmed person now in New York. I guess it's okay to kill unarmed people.
They actually have had 2 precedents of murder set in New York within 1 month. That's a record. I want to say that's a record of some sort.
You don't know what one.
I don't know what, but I want to get you right now. If I were to go off the top of my head, if I were to say, hey, has there ever been 2 possible or incidents that may possibly change the precedent of how we view murder within the context of New York City? Someone would probably say, no, I don't think that's ever happened before.
It's called collateral damage in some way, shape, or form.
Ooh.
You know, I mean, we have collateral damage in the war on drugs. Have collateral damage in all sorts of war. I mean, it's considered part of the battle to a greater good, you know. But the problem is our tolerance for collateral damage and growing lack of empathy in the name of what the fuck ever else has really intensified over the last decade.
Yeah.
You know,
Everything's normalized.
well, you know, and I don't, you might not notice, but I don't just often, when I say often, post something 3 times a week on the average on my own page. You know, so I want, and that's what I put out there today. I saw a video that just pissed me off.
The first time I think a state
Yeah,
introduced
look at it and see and find out where you are and what I posted. You know,
I'm gonna go look.
But I think the
Really
first time
fucking
a state ever
bothering.
introduced the concept of stand your ground, that concept altogether, I think people, even not in the state, heard that and adopted it as a, you know, this is my safety circle. This is where I feel being approached and what I will allow. And if you go beyond that, I will lose my mind. To not think things through or put logic and ration through the situation. I'm just going to assume death is coming for me and go for the throat, whether that be physically or verbally.
I think my dog is broken.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of unspoken, unintentional cues that have been given to our society throughout the past decade that people didn't realize. Like 2014, 2015, you started seeing all those social media posts of people saying, if your people in your life aren't doing enough for you, you cut them out. All you need is you. And that had I believe, a toxic ripple effect on us as a people altogether. Just big piece of the division.
Well, I think that the real big catalyst was 9/11, right? Because that really gave us that big fear. You know, we really didn't know what happened. Now that we look back on it, we know that that's kind of a possibility of what happened. It wasn't an outside source. We know that because there's no way the people in New York City would be walking down the street seeing planes flying over and not think that was normal. Okay. So that just shut everything. I mean, you know, that was horrible. That was horrible because I witnessed that. Then we went to what you just said. You just said 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
Yep. And then jump to COVID, isolation. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And now we jump to now. You know, we can jump over a couple of things that happened in between, but we jump to now. So we have these crazy drones flying all over that are scaring people. And then we have
Shooting that just occurred yesterday at that Christian school.
Yeah, another school shooting. And that's 2 in a month that have happened?
By a female teenager. Very, very unlikely. Very strange. But on the same note, though, it isn't surprising in the current, like I bet if someone were to really review the statistics of that nowadays, they'd see a sharp uptick.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
because there's just so much.
I think
pressure.
we're having an uptick right now. I mean,
Yeah.
we're in the middle. It's not ticking quick enough or a massive eye opener enough. But I really think it's already begun, and it's certainly, having somebody who could raise $100,000 on a GoFundMe page after shooting somebody in the back. I mean, when there's that kind of disconnect, and then that kind of money rushing towards it, like who?
I think it's just, the sad thing about that part is that I disagree with it entirely. I don't think we should.
Don't say but after that, though.
I don't think we should be championing the Subway Strangler or Luigi.
No but. No however.
However.
I beat you to the no however part, though.
No. However,
so now let me dilute what I just said.
It is understandable the mindset that these people got to. That, like, we're all people that can take, situations and not go to the final ultimatum very quickly. We're not going to go to, okay, I have to start prepping a bunker, or I may have to kill someone. No, we don't go to that. A lot of people do. And they don't have the ration reason that we have. So I feel like they definitely have done enough injustice to people to warrant this kind of anger. Was the reaction warranted? Absolutely not. But where the people stand right now as far as anger with health insurance and everything, that's absolutely accurate and rational for human beings to feel.
They need somebody to blame.
What we do with those emotions is entirely up to us. And shooting someone in the beginning of the morning, in broad daylight, in the back.
I got to say, they're not really entirely. I agree with what you're saying, but when it comes to emotions being up to us, they're not. That's why they're emotions.
That's what I'm saying.
When it comes to doing that, it's up to us. But I think for some people, for some diminished capacity, but beyond that, the road rage when you're not on a road,
Yeah, I know.
It seems to have somehow just. I don't know when it became normalized, but it seems to have become normalized because it doesn't bother other people as much as it seems to bother me.
So let me run this thought process by you real quick, because I think this is very relevant, is that people are asking this question. If not now, when? People are constantly looking back. There are some people that are looking back on histories and looking for the cue points for when to uprise, when to do this, when to do that. And they're all asking, if not now, when? And that's the wrong question to be asking. You shouldn't be asking, when can I uprise and start chaos and killing people? You shouldn't be researching for that at all. But I think it is a very relevant question that is being asked, and was asked by Luigi to himself and answered now.
Well, he thought he was doing the right thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like
see, the problem is I go by the now is always the time to do the right thing. Was that John Lewis or somebody or Martin Luther King? It was related to that. Now is always the time to do which is the if not now when. That's the cousin of now is always the right time. So it's kind of like one's the question, if not now when, because now is always the right time to do the right thing. That's what it was.
I think
everyone's looking for do the right thing.
I think
no hero is a coward. He shoot the guy in the back.
Yes, he is a coward.
Our own man in the back.
Yeah. Well, again, it was. Well, I guess that only seems special to me only in as much as he doesn't seem have the symptoms of a diminished capacity at all. I mean, sure, it wasn't the best planned thing, but he had a freaking plan. He didn't just walk up and do it and then,
I wonder if he did. I wonder if he did actually have a plan.
Yeah. He had a plan, not a great one for escape. But again, that was our big mistake of 9/11, thinking all acts of terrorism came with an escape plan when in fact many don't, you know.
Death at the end.
So like, but on the other hand, I don't know. I mean, I already know all this. I already know how I feel. It just feels like there's certainly nothing I can do about it. I don't mind sitting around with friends saying, here's how I feel.
Right.
But that's why I don't generally go out. Rarely, I don't think anybody needs to know how I feel if I can't do anything. I mean, 0.000, other than some heroic act that could get people to notice, which ain't in me. But
Do with what is within your power.
what I can't. I can see it coming. I like to hear the train coming. I like to know how to get out of the way of it. But beyond that, I feel like, and I'm not saying it because of it's often what we're doing here at this moment, but that is this what's made it harder for patients to get any kind of attention, cannabis patients in New Jersey? Why have I been saying, when are patients going to stop coming in second? I mean, I posted the same picture every time in the back of Peter Rosenfeld's press conference, and it means it was 7 years ago, I think. And basically, the way I figure it, New Jersey medical cannabis patients who want a home grow have become collateral damage in Scutari's single-handed, not much of a war of home grow by anybody in New Jersey. Now, he's not specifically against it for patients, but he knows if he gives that any credence at all, the natives are going to get restless. The rest of New Jersey is like, what about us? That's a what about us. And have you noticed there is no really what about us? I mean, a good hit, go plant a garden right at the State House, things like that. But that's like, it goes away and it doesn't count after a couple of days. It's not like a barrage of it. It's not like a lot of people with a major plan, instead of reacting like coming down with a serious, body shots, mostly because not everybody here certainly wants instant gratification on things. They think that being an activist or an advocate involves some sort of instant gratification, and it doesn't. You don't even have people thanking you. You helping people you don't know isn't people's style. They want the thank you. They want the as much as some want the notoriety, and they'll kill for it if that's what'll get it.
Absolutely.
And, I think to the best example of how I've always felt about it was the fledgling marijuana policy project in 1998. They had been around. They broke off from National Normal, took their database with them, their customer base, and started on the backs of that. That's a pretty poor start to begin with. But they were the only ones in 98 who took what I did when I called Normal. I said, I'm coming down, my wife's from MS in a wheelchair. They're going to do something and get arrested, already tried to get arrested in New Jersey and didn't in front of state capitol, yada, yada. I got no interest from National Normal. Nobody got back to me. I called MPP. Okay. And what happened was I pointed out they had a conference call with me. I had some pretty good people on that call. Eric Sterling, Dr. Dennis Petro, Dave Gordon, a lot of people that go way back. And I dangled the credit in front of them. It was like, it wasn't going to be about this woman coming down. It was going to, and kicking everybody's ass. It was about them having us down and helping us do this, and that they tripled or quadrupled their membership in 3 months after 4 years. Mm-hmm. And then, they couldn't have been less agreeable to work with, as far as they were totally after credit. And I get it. That's how you build what you're doing. You get credit. You should get credit when you get stuff done. That's the way it works. I get it. Get it, credit. Yeah. So yeah, it's there's no way to really do that now. And you know, I'm getting like, to me, D-Day goes no later than March 9th, the 4-year anniversary of this bill not being allowed to be heard. And it's not all Scutari's fault, because it started out with Sweeney, but he was Sweeney's right-hand guy then, so it was like, you know. But it is understandable in a vocation I would never thrive in, that it is in his best interest, and probably in his mind, the best interest of New Jersey, if he does more and greater things in New Jersey. And getting money into the treasury is a good thing. You know, I mean, it's what gives you power. And it's not coming from patience. I made the mistake of thinking we'd be let go. You know, let go of that rope so he can have two hands on the rope with adults. I just didn't think he would consider the collateral damage of patience to be worth nothing, you know, that the greater good is the state's treasury. And I cannot tell you how to fuck with my mindset. I just can't. I can't tell you. So if I seem out of
Can I ask a board meeting question? Okay, because I think we need to talk about this one. January 18th is the People's March, the Women's March. It's DC, New York City, and LA have stuff going. Okay, so can we organize something out of Trenton?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm out of the loop. I know vaguely what you're talking about, but I'd like to know specifically about it for sure.
Okay, it's you know, it's really about a
Well, who's the driving force? Who's it's the? I mean, it's a multi-state.
multiple organizations.
Yeah, but a couple. Just so I mean, I'm trying to get it.
Okay, ACLU, the League of Women Voters.
Okay, good.
Okay, you know, those are the groups I can say out loud.
And I would assume this is kind of rooted in right to one's domain over their own body, especially. I mean, a driving force within all sorts of push going with it, which is I'd like to attend something like that myself. I mean, I'm saying I would show up for something like that.
Okay, so
I mean,
I would like to see us be able to organize something out of Jersey, you know, so that it's always the three big stars, you know, DC, like I said, DC,
yeah,
City, and LA. We should do that. I am on a committee with organizing these marches.
uh-huh.
So because I live on top of New York City. However, you know, I can bring everything there.
Is ACLU of New Jersey, or is there? Could you get in touch with them and say, we really think we should do something like this in New Jersey? You do support it.
Yeah.
Is there something we can do? I mean, right off.
Yeah.
Again, the dangling the credit thing. As long as you're the ones that are supporting this, we want to help you a lot. How can we help you? And do you need ideas, or, you know, could we work with you on this? And you'd be the perfect person to do it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I mean, I'm not. I know you. We know me. I'm always looking for everybody. You're the perfect person. You're the perfect person. You know. But in this case, that's exactly right. And you know, I would think, Lefty,
you're being very quiet up there.
That Sativa Cross could do well to support women. Support women sticking up for themselves and supporting themselves. I mean, you know,
But it's also, but don't get just caught up into that, and that's the one thing we want to stay away from. It's not just a women's march; it's the People's March.
Absolutely.
So it's got to do with the inauguration. It's got to do with, you know, just the way
everything
everything has gone down. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got. I mean, I still want to take part myself, but I kind of want to see what the plans are.
Okay.
Of where the people have plans. What are they planning? Is there some way we could emulate that in at some level in New
Yes.
Jersey? You know, yeah, and because it's I want to be really prepared whenever I see it, to not be the person during a Black Lives Matter march who is like right up so far in front of a main group, almost getting a head start going down.
Yeah,
They're
but
having,
but what we want to be is we want to be the organizers.
I
So
got a
the
big note.
organizers stay in the background, right? No? Yes?
I forget stuff if I can't get through a thought. So the reason, don't you wonder what I don't want to be like that happened at that march? They got the media. I mean, I'm watching on regular whatever TV, you know, going through Bill, and it was like, what is it exactly that you're marching about? Oh my God, they had no fucking idea. And I'm like, I was like, yeah, they're getting coverage, and they didn't know. And I mean, even a small version with only 2 or 3 other people and me, I wouldn't want to really know what it's about because I know I support it, but I want to be able to respond. You
All
know,
right.
obviously,
You know
I don't know exactly what it's about.
I think we should talk more offline about this.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
this
how does
is
that work logistically?
January what? January
January 18th.
18th.
Are we talking about being outside the State House on that day? Because it's going to be very cold that day.
It's going to be very
On
cold.
January 18th. That's
We don't have Chris Goldstein's tent anymore, so
well, then you know that's something to consider.
What? That's going to be cold? Come on.
yeah, for
For real?
disabled people. Well, for me as a disabled person, not a good
We'll
thing for
bring
me.
you blankets.
Yeah.
You lefty.
Well,
come
no,
on. You're
I
a
don't
prominent
do outside
voice.
stuff in winter. I just don't.
yeah, it's I get that, and I don't think I'd even want you to physically show up. But you're a kind of guy that could drive 10 people to show up in your place.
Yeah, if we had the inside the State House somewhere, that's different.
Oh well,
I'll
That's
bundle
not
up and go.
what's that?
That's not going to happen.
You know, no, you don't. All it takes is one assembly or person or senator to request a room for it. And,
Yeah.
you know, don't assume it might not happen when this is good for them. Out of that whole bunch of the whole fucking lot of them,
Yeah.
somebody go, so all I got to do is ask for the room, and this is how does that work for me? That works out pretty good.
So we're moving from a march to sitting in a room.
Marching to the room.
March to the room.
That's cool. That'll work because I can be in the room waiting for the march.
Well, that's how it works. I mean, it's
And we can have like those like poster heads of you
yeah.
as we're marching.
Well, I don't know how marches work in Trenton, Weedman's. For the most part, the police said, okay, I mean, we don't want you, you know, fucking up things. If you're going to get yourself from here to there, we're good with that, you know.
Okay, this is a totally different.
Well, when you say march, people say march just for showing up sometimes, you know. Marching.
Do a little bit of research. Just Google it, and I will send you what I have also. Okay.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'll send the 3 of you. Buckaman, you need to send me your email. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Give me one.
You send your bucking email.
Your
God. Riot. There you go.
Oh, come on. That was one of the old.
It was good. It was really good. It was. I'm underselling that. It was really good.
That might have been that. I can't take credit for it. That was one of the oldest jokes I heard as a little kid, and it was like when somebody I forget. It was associating the Buccaneer with something under his bucking hat. You know.
That.
And when I found that out, and I'm talking about first and second grade stuff. It's always funny to swear without swearing. You know.
Yeah. Not swearing.
I go back a long way with that then. Fuck.
All right. So
What else?
So I
what's-
have. Do I have your permission at least to go to the committee and tell them, listen, this is what we want to do in Jersey, and so, you know,
Well, that's
get
good.
there.
That's good.
I'm
with
sure
me.
it's going to be an okay. You know.
I would assume as an organization, we'd certainly be okay with you doing that and us being involved. I know with me personally, but it's what I do also a lot at CMMNJ. I support all sorts of stuff, like not just me, you know. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, I start out doing that, and I'm good with everybody else. And you know, I mean, if we could get a room, then we would actually probably have a better chance of getting the press there on a cold day
Alright.
too, because they could be waiting with Lefty inside eating donuts and waiting for people freezing to get there or whatever. But to me also, if it's a cold day like that, it gets more, it's not a walk in the park either. It's people that are committed to doing something, whoever shows up, to be out in there. But the idea of being able to go into a room is starting to sound pretty good to me, you know.
Okay.
What day of the week is that?
I don't know.
Sunday?
No.
Saturday works too. I mean, you know, they got Saturday.
I think I want to say it's a Tuesday. Wait, I'll tell you in a second.
Say Tuesday then.
The 19th? The 19th is a Sunday.
18th.
18th is a Saturday.
Yeah, I could see them doing that. Things like that happen on a Saturday.
Saturday's never good.
Well, Saturday is good for people to take part in stuff that work Monday to Friday.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Hey, Bear.
There.
Yeah,
Bear, you're out of the hospital.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. I'm home now. I still gotta take the antibiotics here, but I'm home now.
What happened to you?
My cat bit me, and then my hand got infected.
Ouch.
Yeah, tell me about it. But yeah, I'm home now.
Wow.
Glad
Hospital.
you're well.
Where'd you get treated?
Bayonne Medical.
Okay.
I was in Bayonne Medical since last Wednesday.
How long were you in the hospital?
6 days last Wednesday.
I'll tell you, a hospital stays longer than people think that have never stayed in a hospital. And I don't know why people say how many days they're in a hospital. It's the nights, you know.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
nights in the hospital? You would think that'd be the peaceful part, but I don't know why that, you know.
It's not. It's
Yeah,
really not.
yeah. Did you have a roommate?
No, I never have a roommate when I'm in there. Surprisingly, every time I'm in there, I never have a roommate. So
Be surprised how many people can.
You had an infection, though. That's why.
Yeah.
no.
Probably
They just
why.
it's not that. It's not that. It's just that when I'm in there, I make it known I don't want a roommate.
Well, that doesn't fly.
Yeah,
It does.
they
It
don't
does for
do
me.
that.
I promise you. I went in there and there was 2 people in my room one time, and I had to be in there for so long. And they was asking me, it was like, would you prefer a room by yourself? And I've been told them that from the gate. And one of the doctors came in and asked me, and I said yes, and they gave it to me. I had a corner room, big as hell, just me, for 3 weeks.
Oh,
For 3
I
weeks.
kid you not, 3 weeks.
For 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep, right in Bayonne Medical.
What'd you have? Well, why were you in the hospital for 3 weeks? That's a very long time to be in the hospital.
It is.
It was for my foot. Like I said, I'm prone to infections from my foot.
You
It's
had
just my body, period.
you had
So-
an open wound on your foot. Yes.
Yeah.
infection on his foot from a
Okay.
wound.
Yeah.
So yeah. So you were.
No, they
Yeah.
had me in there with somebody else, and he had got transferred out because they sent him to the to a a rehab home,
Mhm.
and other than that, they didn't put anybody else in there. It wasn't like there was nobody else in there who had any infection, but you know,
It's got to entirely depend on the hospital.
Absolutely.
I would guess, but
yeah, because
I,
they
Does
were
sound like
trying
they
to.
did
I
suggest
know that having
offer it.
had 59 hospital days and nights over a 4 month period,
Yeah,
they
they was trying to, keep my mental stability and mental health at a good place. Just
yeah.
swapping me
Look,
out with
look,
different people all the time would, probably bother me.
I got a private room because of heart palpitations, and they wanted to watch. So they did that in a certain part of the hospital. But
Yeah.
then the nurse who was I really got along good with over the 29-day stay, she told me I was going for an operation because I had infection on my foot, and they were doing a DNR, some sort. They dig out the infection, they open it up, and they.
Yeah. That's
They were
DNR.
debriding it.
So I had that
Yeah,
every
debridement.
4
Well,
Yeah.
days.
debridement.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
And so what she told me is, she said, just so you know, um, you don't have to, if they were going to move you to another room, because I kept telling her, hey, listen, I'm not getting back in. I had a bad time with 3 octogenarians in a row being a roommate for a night, and I wasn't getting sleep because get this out. I had a catheter.
Mm-hmm.
Screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming.
Mhm.
About 2 in the morning, I screamed, I just pull it out hard. I'd get rid of them. Okay, that's how tired I was.
Don't feel
She
bad.
said, she said you don't
What's that?
have to go. In other words, when you're coming out of surgery, confirm they're coming back. And she
Yeah.
told me that, and she said, just refuse. And
Yeah.
they will have to make, in that situation, they will have to make
Make
arrangements.
accommodation. Yeah.
So Dan, you're coming out of an operation, it's a little bit in recovery till you're really. And I asked, and she said, "No, as a matter of fact, no, you will be having a roommate, but he's much younger. He's 21." And I said, "Look, I know I look weak, and I know I'm not in great shape, but I guarantee there's no way you're getting me out of the room because these arms are stronger than you think. You're going to go near a corner wall and hold on." All blah 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 blah.
It sounds like more of a horrifying.
So meanwhile, Kathy knows how I feel about that, and I mean, I don't mind roommates if they don't watch TV at night where I can't sleep, like loud because they can't hear, whatever. But anyway, she's there coming to visit me, and she's in the room where I'm not going to be anymore. My thing, and no, she was there, and they came and said, "Oh no, Jim's not going to be here. He's going to be in a different room." And she's like heartbroken, like, "Oh no,
Mhm.
no." And she went, to the room, and it's sort of like, no, he's not here. He's refusing to leave the post op. And she's like, okay, it's really hard not to smile at this point. What was I thinking, Jim? And it did. But as far as I was at my weakest point mentally, physically in my life after 3 nights where I'm not embellishing. I got no sleep one night, and then during the day, it's things going on. I got an hour and a half of sleep the next night, and no sleep the third night.
Yeah, I was like that too, and I think that was one of the reasons why they gave me
How does
my own
anybody
room.
handle that? Here's how bad it was. There's another guy making a ruckus. Name is Joe, and he was just loud in the hallway. He got moved out into the hallway because nobody could have him as a roommate. So they had him out in the hallway, which is like now bothering everybody. And he would quiet down from time to time. But then about 4 in the morning, he coded. He's code blue, a crash cart, all that, and it was Joe. And then he died.
Mm.
felt so conflicted because my first reaction was, oh, I'm going to get a little bit of sleep at least. That was my reaction, and I
No, that's a
realized
natural reaction. Oh, thank God.
no, it really bothered me right after that. I don't mean when I got,
Still sounds like a more durable stay with a person than
yeah.
when I was in boarding school and I stayed with someone who had night terrors, and that was you could only have fun with it. You could not sleep with that while that was going on. It'd be a point, and I'd wake up and they'd be murmuring by the window, and I'd say to them, like, "What are you doing?" And they just turn around to me and just stare at me, and then just turn back. Unbearable. Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Unbearable.
I'm sorry. You do that shit in front of me, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. You getting slapped out of that.
Here's the funny thing, though, because there was this one night where I woke up
I'm
and
going to
I hear
slap
him
the
going,
shit out of you.
No, one night I hear him, Jeffrey, open the safe, Jeffrey. So I'm just like, oh my God, what's this asshole going on about again? So I decided I'm gonna have a little fun with it. So I was like,
oh my God.
No,
That's
he's like, so,
bro.
Jeffrey, are you in the safe? I was like, I'm in the safe and I'm not coming out. And he threw a fit. He got out of the bed, crawled under the bed, and began to shout and weep. It was, oh yeah.
What the fuck?
You got video?
Boarding school for the criminal for behavior correction comes with a lot of quirky people.
Oh, what shit? Yeah. Quirky to say the least.
It was a boarding school up in Connecticut for behavioral correction.
Okay.
Are you feeling bad?
No.
What are we smoking there, Bear?
I don't even know. It was left inside my little cup, and I poured it in because I ain't had a blunt in 6 days.
Love that. A blunt.
Oh,
I haven't
man.
had a blunt in a couple weeks. I was last time when I was in Florida with my best friend. Anytime I'm in Florida with my best friend, it's a blunt. White grape game.
Hell yeah.
Love it. You an indica or sativa guy?
I don't matter. I like hybrid indica mostly. Sativa when I got some stuff to do.
Yeah, good attitude. Good attitude about it. Love that. How your wounds feeling since you've been out?
My hand is it's throbbing a little bit, but not crazy. Other than that, I feel amazing. I just had to do my own infusions. So they're doing infusions at my house. I have to do them myself 3 times a day.
Once you get the bandages off and you see it start healing, there's this topical silver stuff that you can I have to get the exact name of it.
silver psyllium.
What's
Yeah,
what's the infusion?
Called Silvadine, and
Yes.
you
Like
use it for
vancomycin or
wounds.
some shit?
It's a triple antibiotic solution. Okay.
Yeah, and it keeps the wound dry. I have that here.
Okay. Use
So
that.
you and my mom would get along very, very well. Like you knew that word better than I did, and that's my mom.
Yeah, but I was a burn nurse.
My mom was a nurse too, and she's very
Yeah.
also into some alternative medication, treatments and whatnot.
Her and I'll have to talk one day.
She'd get a kick out of you. I know that much right now.
I'd love to meet her.
Love it.
Oh boy.
Is he part of the Cannabis Nurses Network?
So Sean, I'm gonna see Marina. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'd avoid breakwaters. Not that I don't love their weed, but it's very stagnant. Their collection, I don't feel like they fluctuate enough of what they have in inventory. I feel like it's like I've gone on there recently and I saw the same strains I saw. They're solidified last year and the year before. If breakwaters is your area, the Plantabis or there's something Plantopia near you has a great selection. Love them. NJ Leaf and to an extent Zen Leaf. I explore the dispensaries in your area because there are a lot. If you're talking breakwater in that area, there are a lot of good places there that have a good selection depending on what you're looking for. Sorry, I want to get to that.
They are a medical facility, so I think the reason they keep their same strains is because patients probably just want the same strains consistently.
And if that's the case, but I've seen other dispensaries not, but that were medical based. That it's you only stand to improve by fluctuating what you have. If you have I could understand if it was like a very small town with like a consistent population of people that goes in there and they want their vote matters more, then fine. Sayreville. Write what in the chat? Sayreville or what I just said? Because I don't remember most of it, but I could try. Sayreville, Air Woodbridge. I'll champion. Listen, go to Air Woodbridge. I used to work there. The people there are wonderful at Air Woodbridge. I will say Air Woodbridge over and over again so they know that I love them. Everyone over there is excellent over there. The supervisors at Monty, Egypt, everyone over there is awesome. The bud tenders will give you the time of day. Carol, if you get to talk to Carol, she is a riot, and she will talk to you on end about her rabbit and Pokemon and all sorts of Tamagotchi.
Gotta go Pokemon.
Ryan will talk to you about music. You got a good, healthy collective over there. So not only is Air going over there, you're gonna get some good deals. You're gonna have a good array of stuff you can pick from, and you're gonna have a good chat and a good interaction with the bud tenders and the staff there. That's just going without saying. Even security.
That's awesome.
Not saying you should act out towards the security to get them to interact with you. You could talk to, if it's the men there, they'll talk to you about anything in current events. And if it's the one female security guard, oh, she's just a ball. I love talking to her. You can talk to her about anything.
Nice gun. Nice gun. Come here often.
So fun fact, there was I don't know if he still works there as security, but there was a guy when I first started there who had a golden Glock. And I went up to him. He literally carried that on the job with him. And I went up to him, pulled him aside. I said, I'm sorry, what do you do in your hunt off time? Do you hunt God? Like, why the golden, respect, but I don't remember there being any archangels about vanquishing people of their souls or whatever it would be used a golden gun for.
Is that werewolf? No, werewolves are
silver bullet.
Silver bullet, yeah.
The only time I've ever heard a golden gun introduced is like, oh, you're in heaven. We don't use guns. We use golden guns. I think that was American Dad. They're on point constantly. Great show.
I wonder if we're going to have guys with guns here at Mad Hatter, because that's our competition, Air. So when Mad Hatter opens up, we can no longer say nice things about Air. So get it out now, guys.
I will.
Good things out.
I will.
I used to.
There's a lot of ways I think that I can bring to you guys, and I bet you guys are already aware of that. You guys can approach opening this place more well equipped. I don't know if you've seen on my social media, I was actually out with Tobias Eats today. Before this, we were doing a shoot with a bunch of exotic cars. It was really cool. I was deathly afraid I was going to damage one of them and be vastly in debt, but I was all right. I was good. Would they change my card or would I? You don't have to change your card. Your card is for the state. Your medical card is for the state. So if you're referring to what they used to do, where you'd have to go to a dispensary and they'd have to change which dispensary you're registered to, they do that now. You don't have to do that anymore.
That's still a silly rule.
That was a thing that happened briefly where you'd go to a dispensary and they're like, oh, can you go on your phone and change which dispensary you're registered to? And it was for a couple months, and then everyone was sick of it, and then they changed it. By the way, Sue, is there a new cannabis sales tax going on for medical or at all?
Not that I know of.
Because I don't know. I've been noticing a little uptick at certain dispensaries, and I don't know if the price advertised is the same. But I remember once when I was over at Maplewood, they told me something about some New Jersey tax, but I don't know. Maybe it was bad information, but I just wanted to check.
Well, they have that tax 2% that if you have a dispensary in your town, you can get 2% uh, of the what 2% of the revenue. They can get money into their town coffers by allowing. It's not like it doesn't come with it. You can choose to do that.
Yes.
And maybe something happened with that where they could have say something like, well, we like 3%, and if something like that happened, it would be perceived as a tax on a tax of some sort on patients, but it's really on the dispensary, which, as we know, then drips down to the patients anyway. But because we had a problem back when they started figuring that out about anybody, they could 2% of patients' medicine. In other words, those that can't afford their own, if that 2% was directly applied to them, that's 2%. If they can't afford their full supply, that 2% is really directly 2% of their medicine.
Yes.
And Lefty, I'm thinking there's nothing wrong with me writing up a cause for writing up a petition about a petition for S1393 A864, I think it is. I forget what it is, the assembly version. But it's not a big deal to do. And I'm going to write one up. I'm kind of a doofus when it comes to doing stuff like that. I'll investigate. Like, is it like MoveOn.org or who else has the petition things? It's pretty simple to follow and all. But it would probably be a good thing for an org to be
If you're looking
involved,
for a shell to be written.
involved with. So I'd write it up, but then we'll check maybe by next Monday.
Jim, if you're looking for a shell to be articulated for that, I mean,
we have homegrown petitions of all kinds, but this one isn't so much a petition as pointing a finger at Scutari that he's got a blockade. The petition is to end the blockade, to allow it to be heard, because it's very unusual to have a health care bill that one man can block for coming up on 4 years. So I'd like to have a petition between now and March 9th to have done whatever it does, and it will be ignored. But that's the point. You win either way. If it gets ignored, that's ammunition. If it doesn't get ignored, then you didn't need the ammunition. Not doing it is the problem. And yes,
Yeah.
one 3 years ago, I wrote that one up with Joanne. I did another one that was kind of fun. But I don't know so much about the
language.
For instance, like in doing it, it's also good to people that will take part, would like to sign a petition. It's also a chance to get them to be part of Sativa Cross, like to check in on stuff or whatever.
I think that it would, I'm sorry, to who just commented, greasier than normal. I think it would depend on really a case-by-case basis to be from someone who worked at the dispensary, a case-by-case basis to between the predicted traffic of each dispensary. Some dispensaries are medical but don't see any medical patients until later in the day. It's just how their traffic is, and some see really early patients. So I think it really would boil down to a case-by-case basis, but a lot of them, I agree, should be open early hours for medical patients.
Well, they were. I stopped going a year and a half ago only because I can get it really as good or better, cheaper elsewhere, and I have to do that. I don't have a financial choice. I did in the past, and I did certainly give them a lot of business. And but to me, the medical hours only, there's 2 hours in the morning, was awesome. Because if it was medical only, I didn't mind the crowd that would show up if they're in the same position as me. And also, it was a very good time to gather interest from those there about home grow, because
and
you
that,
knew there were patients. But I'd say what the reason is, it's not better for patients, and it's in some ways for those who are like me. It was worth it going in the morning, you know.
That's why I said it's a case.
Yeah, the first 2 hours, I think it was 8 till 10, if I remember right.
And that's why I like Air. They both have still maintained those early. I'm sorry to keep doing this, Lefty, but I'm just trying to champion the medical thing here. They both keep those medical hours for patients, and they divide the spaces between medical and recreational for the registers. They at Woodbridge, they have 4 registers dedicated for medical, and then the rest are for recreational. So, yeah, not all dispensaries do that. Absolutely. But
the reason that there are, legalization was built on the fact that dispensaries already existed.
Yep.
And it was, I said for years, I mean, this is one thing good about Facebook. I go back and see all the times and how long ago it was. I said, no, it's not if, it is going to happen.
No.
Because that's the way it gets done quickest. It was signed into law on January 10th, 2010, and it took over about 2.5 years for a first dispensary. With adults, it was like the dispensaries were there, so that was good. And the way to say thank you is not to clear out their shit after everything starts running.
Now, let me pose a question to you and Sue, because I actually thought about this the other day, and I just remembered this about the home grow, and if this is a viable consideration that both you and maybe should weigh, and they are weighing. Could a major reason be of a reasonable argument, and maybe you're already know this, I don't know, but that they're saying, okay, home grow would be allowing people who aren't, it's the home grow, the point of home grow is for treatment. It's for making your medicine so you can treat yourself. Now, bud tenders are licensed to dispense, but they're not doctors. So that's your advisement you're getting. So if that's the advisement you're getting, then are you getting advisement to, like, proper advisement to grow a whole thing of this and have that be your medicine when it could be working against you because you're not a licensed doctor? Again, I want the home grow for everyone, but I try to look at it from every corner and every
adults
avenue.
can handle their own fucking selves. Patients need help.
That's why they should have a nurse in the dispensaries, in the medical
And
dispensaries.
the other thing I was going to say is, Lefty, are you considering for 1 second, Chip? Sorry. Are you considering for Mad Hatter private consultation?
Yeah, I believe they'll have that.
I would help be very, very involved with that if you did. That was something I see a lot of dispensaries do. They have a little side room where people can go sit. Because at the end of the day, I've said this over and over again. It's a medical need, but you got 5 to 15 minutes tops to talk to these guys, and then you got to move on with your purchase to keep traffic going. If it's not, maybe if it's busy or not, but private consultation, I think people would really, really appreciate that. Jim, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's hold on a second. Let me maximize this. It'll bring it back. Yeah, if you could just go to my Facebook page, because the only other thing I put out this week was exactly how I feel about, not about the lines and patients only, but about that legalization came 11 years after to adults, 11 years after it came to patients, and then it kind of like normalized pretty quick after that. But right now, I would guarantee, I would just go away and nobody'd see me again if I was wrong, that they're not going to happen at the same time unless people allow patients to be brushed aside as easily as they are. There's no outcry from adults for home grow for patients. There's outcry from adults for everybody should get to grow it. But what happens is the minute patients get an informational hearing for their bill, it validates every reason that adults are going to be saying why they should get to grow it. It's not so much about, it is about medicine and strain specific and cheaper, all that, but
And not to say this is the deciding factor, but is this maybe an overlooked factor of this that they're weighing against it?
I'm sorry.
I'm saying what I said is like, not that, it's like not thought about, but is this maybe something that they're weighing against this whole? Because like I said,
who's the
again, those who want to vote against home grow.
For patients or for adults? See, this is another thing. It's always home grow. It's two things.
Patients. Yes, that's my argument then. Yeah.
It is a bill for both. But just like Jake's Law, when Jake's Law, improvements for patients got tied together legislatively with legalization. And what happened is everybody thought, well, if this is about patients and improvements to their bill, on the same bill with legalization for adults, it's going to be a winner. No, it wasn't a winner. Too many senators were against home grow for adults that when taken together, it cost 6 months of not getting just a patients only bill talked about, but it cost another 6 months to untie the two fuckers, because that's not how things happen legislatively. Nope. You can't just untie it. It starts all over again. So like, that's what happened. It's kind of a de facto reason what's happening now, because Scutari knows that you can't low key a first hearing for home grow for patients in New Jersey. It's going to be news. And the news is going to piss off adults who want to grow for their own. It's the kind of freaking climate we were talking about earlier. What about me? What about what I need? What about the rest of us? Yeah, it's permeated all the way down to nobody gives a fuck about patients. Yeah. They're lost in everything. And I'm goddamn tired of it. Do I sound like I'm about to reach a point? I am. Well, I want to have all my ducks in a row by March 9th.
Amen.
That's the day I cross the Rubicon.
The interesting question that you asked, concerning the sales tax thing, when you think about it, they haven't increased the sales tax. That's remained the same. But think about this. When you go get a prescription, right? When you go to the drugstore.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they charge you sales tax?
No. Nope. It's your script.
There we go. Rolling into, it will become, for those purposes, it will become a Schedule 3, which would work for the patients because they won't, they're not paying sales tax. And there is some rumblings going on right now about insurance. In particular, Medicaid, surprisingly enough.
There's a social equity excise fee beginning January 1st. The fee will be $2.50 per ounce of cannabis. It was $1.24 per ounce of cannabis last year.
But that's recreational.
Right. That is recreational.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about medical.
Well, that's the two get confused. So like when, I don't mean necessarily among us, but when people hear further more of a tax on cannabis, they assume medical, or, I mean, they may, somebody that really has a good idea what's going on wouldn't necessarily assume it. And that's one thing I was surprised how easy it was to get done when I found out 6 years ago, maybe, that Wikipedia said of New Jersey that we don't tax medicine. So I reported them. Well, they were taxing medicine at the time. I mean, patients were paying tax, just like because there was no adult using it.
Fake news. Fake news.
But they were paying the full sales tax, and then when it got,
you lost me. Wait a minute. Go back. You lost me.
Okay, there was regular sales tax on
Right.
our medicine until 2018 when Jake's Law happened. When Jake's
Right.
Law was it 18? Yeah. When Jake's Law happened, we phased it out. We didn't even let go of that freaking rope all at once. We phased it out. Holy crap, that pissed me off. But anyway, we phased it out, and now it's down to nothing. So the state doesn't get any money from patients directly or really indirectly, as far as I can tell. So them growing their own wouldn't have any financial be a concern for New Jersey or Scutari one way or the other, which leads me to continually say it's not about that. It's about as long as he can keep it from happening for adults, he gets credit for the money going into the state. This is great for his political brand and his political capital and power in New Jersey. Money into it. He's the godfather of cannabis. This is what he wants to be known for. He jumped in on the medical his freshman year as a legislator at all. So he went right to the Senate as a legislator from being county prosecutor. That's a pretty good way to run. Yeah, I'd like to be a senator. Oh, okay. Well, I guess. So, hey, Reed Goussior, Assemblyman Reed, I like your bill. I'm going to put it up in the Senate, and then he ends up getting credit. Now you ask people who it was that got medical cannabis law going in New Jersey. Nobody's going to say Reed Goussior. It's all Nick Scutari, and he played it well, and then he transferred over with the flow. It was like he really hit it at the right time to do what he did, and it's just now entrenched. And at some point, even he will realize holding on to the medical rope for not letting them grow, and if he thinks at the moment he knows that, and his plan is, well, a very strict program that only serves the most seriously ill, people, which, my God, is that against all health crap that I believe? No, you don't say. What about cancer? Stage 1? No, not yet. Is that how it works? Okay. Well, that's how it would work in Scutari's plan. He's going to include all cancer. What about MS? She looks fine.
Very similar to
it wouldn't work. You can't do it. But I think people could figure that from the beginning if it was out there enough that no, that's not a possibility either. It's true. There's no reason at all for patients not to have it, including the fact that there's only one other state where patients don't have it, in any state that has a legalization for adults. We're an outlier state for not only no good reason, for no reason. We don't have a sales tax. What the hell? So he will let go of that rope. It is going to happen. It's not going to not happen in the next 50 years. It's going to happen whenever it does. It's going to happen before adults. It's not going to happen at the same time. If we're real lucky, it'll be one session later because it could leapfrog that quick. And that's what Scutari's worried about. Lefty, what kind of outcry do you remember when it passed and people started with, what do you mean we can't grow it? What do you mean? We didn't know I knew, but we as a collective people in New Jersey somehow didn't know that we wouldn't be able to grow it. It didn't say you got to grow it. You voted for something that didn't say we had to grow it. Who in New Jersey wouldn't understand the state's going to grab the biggest slice of that pie they can get? Holy
happened
crap.
to us twice. It happened to us during the medical vote. We lost home grow. And then we all voted for home grow. 2/3 of New Jersey voted for home grow, the constitutional right to cultivate cannabis, and yet we don't have the right to cultivate cannabis.
What did they voted?
The excuse isn't the excuse because there's, I don't know, not enough. It's got something to do with the industry and about there not being growers in the state, and blah blah blah.
Nick Scutari. I got him all mapped out. Anything you need to know about him, I got it all right up here just about now. I've been busy. It's ask that question again.
Oh, I got to remember what I just asked.
I got to remember. Come on, you get your question.
Okay, so is that some crazy way of being connected to the whole, story about, like, how the New Jersey legislatures like to
Okay.
say,
No,
well, there's
it
not
is.
enough growers in Jersey,
What he's.
and somehow that's connected to
Yeah,
the excise
he
tax.
was saying that we haven't got the program up and running yet. And we don't up and running fully, smoothly. He's not saying it. He's not qualifying it too much because he has a leg to stand on there. Program's not up and running. We don't have the kinks in the program worked out yet. Never mind homegrown. When we have all the kinks in the program, when we get the machine moving here, then we consider homegrown. That's what he's saying in effect. But for patients, he should be definitely ready to let go of that rope. But I'm right, and he's right to understand, and we agree, without talking ever, that will reinvigorate the cry for what about adults, It's
Okay.
exactly what's going to happen, and he doesn't want to mess with that. The natives are quiet. Nobody's, okay, they planted.
Yeah, of course everybody's quiet because everybody does what they want anyway. Okay, listen, riddle me this. Okay, think about this. Okay, when the whole DEA and DOJ finally get around to doing, going through the testimonies, which God knows how long that's going to take and what have you, and they make their decision, and I believe their decision is going to be a Schedule 3, right? So as a Schedule 3, then you can't grow, right? Think about it.
Again?
Because then it's controlled again. If it, like I believe when they go through this whole process of what they're doing, the DEA, rescheduling, and and I believe they will create the Schedule 3 slot for medical cannabis, right? Okay. Yep. Even though they keep saying that it's not going to affect recreational. Well, you know what? That's bullshit.
Well, how's that work out for home growth?
It's going to affect recreational. How does that affect home grow? Well, because then it becomes
for patients, not home grow. Home grow for patients. How does it affect? In other words, we can't just say how does it affect home grow. It's how does it affect home grow for patients?
What Jim's saying is that
home grow for the Schedule 3, even if the federal government says that doesn't give you the right to grow your medicine, it's going to end up being the same in state. It'll get New Jersey.
Yeah,
passed a law. There's no way Scutari's going to hold on to that rope when that happens. Absolutely. And he probably is thinking that himself. I believe when they planted all those plants, holy crap, man, that was amazing. 10 by 10 square feet of pot plants in the annex courtyard there. And the state police didn't come out for a while. They had plenty of time to make sure, what should we do? Whoever they asked, what should we do, is don't arrest anybody. We want no charges. We want it to go away. Let them talk with them and make them take it away when they go. Wow. But if I were Nick Scutari, that's what I would have suggested, because it would have been a bigger deal if anybody had repercussions to pay at all. And he gets that, in that effect, it would have been more effective if everybody didn't just get to go away. That kind of, not proved it to me, but it showed me where the edge of their envelope was. And it's like, if it'll, they're handling things good now. I mean, I wonder if Nick Scutari's had 10 calls about home grow from adults. How long in the last, time period? Month, 2, 3? That's nothing. He could be getting 100 or 1,000 calls a day if people wanted to get on him, but nobody does. And that's fine. I mean, I wish adults would get on him like that for them, because then I could sneak in and say, hey, man, you got to do it for patients now, because then you can look like you're moving in increments or something. Even
I don't think he's going to move any Nobody's going to move anything until they do this whole process.
Probably not, but you know me. I'm not going to say, well, therefore, I'm not going to try as if I know better.
I know you're the forever optimist.
No, I want to be able to say I knew it because I did that. I don't want it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy by nobody trying, and I'm the one that I don't mind, I really don't. So somebody needs to, if anything, it's a bargaining chip. If somebody he finally said he'd talk, he'd probably say, yeah, I just don't want it to be Jim. If I could get him to say, I'll talk, but not to Jim.
All right. Let's see if he'll talk to me.
So I'm gonna check
If-
off for.
If he doesn't know you, your resume says you got a shot. But if he knows, he's like, I don't want to talk to her even more.
Lefty.
Well,
I'm gonna-
you'd circle around him and he wouldn't even know what hit him, man.
Lefty, I'm gonna jump off real quick, but I just want to make a quick shout real quick. I'm gonna send you a link. At the end of the month, everyone who's watching this, there's going to be an awards ceremony or event going on for the cannabis industry. The link I hope Lefty will be able to provide everyone is the voting form for that. There are a lot of good companies and groups on there. I hope you all come to some good considerations on who to vote and support on that. But I highly encourage for influencer, you vote Tobias Eats. He's an amazing dude, has great energy, will show you amazing places to eat, hot spots, what have you. He's an amazing content creator. Show him your support and love.
Who is this sponsored by or whatever?
This is Canademics is doing the Bud Tenders Ball at the end of the month, and they do a awards event at it for. Maybe Murphy will change home grow before he gets out. I don't think he would do that. I hope he wouldn't do that, but I don't think anyone's going to do that.
There's somebody putting on an event, the cannabis industry. Every time I hear the cannabis industry, I'm sitting here while you're talking. I'm looking at Lefty thinking, I think he deserves one more award of some sort at a place like that, which was built on the backs of people like Lefty. And he's already getting awards in the mainstream. How about we suggest, it'd look kind of good not to forget the people whose backs you walked on to get into the industry.
They already forgot about us. So trust me, we're a distant memory. We're dust.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying is for their own good.
Yes.
Because the cannabis industry evolving from a medical thing, which it should, and I feel, but this is called negotiating. What do we have to negotiate with? It's
Jim, I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
Politicians don't often act in their best interest.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to cock off. You guys have a great night. I'll see you on Thursday.
I'm out of here too. I'm heading to Union City to a council meeting. So I'll see you all Thursday.
Yes.
Vote Tobias Eats,
I have
everyone.
men and boys to feed. So good night.
Good night,
Last
everybody.
Talk to you
Perfect.
Thursday. Bye.
Yeah.